Navigating the digital landscape today, um, it feels less like crossing a calm lake and more like riding rapids, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Businesses everywhere, they need strong, adaptable tech solutions.
Especially, in a region as dynamic as Central America.
Right. And getting digital transformation right, well, that takes more than just buying software.
It really means finding a true partner, someone you can rely on.
Exactly.
And that's precisely the focus of this deep dive. Ovnicom. We've got some source material here, bits from their website, a portfolio document.
Yeah.
It was provided by a listener who wants to understand Ovnicom's role, what they actually bring to the table for companies diving into digital transformation in Panama and Central America.
Okay.
So our mission, let's jump into these sources and pull out the most important insights for you, our listener.
And right from the get-go, these sources, they paint a clear picture of how Ovnicom sees itself.
How's that?
Well, they don't just sound like a vendor selling services. They actively use language like ally or partner.
Ah,
There's a real strong emphasis on their history, their experience, and offering comprehensive solutions that work together, not just selling isolated bits of tech.
interesting. Let's dig into that foundation then.
Yeah.
What do the sources tell us about Ovnicom's history, their scale?
Well, the material highlights a pretty long track record. It says they have over 20 years of experience.
20 years.
Yeah, specifically focused on digital transformation in Panama and Central America. One source even mentions more than 23 years.
So they've been around the block, seen a few things change.
Seems that way. Suggests they've been navigating these challenges with businesses in the region for quite some time.
And their reach, it seems pretty extensive, not just geographically, but also like who they serve.
Exactly. The portfolio doc, it mentions over 1,500 B2B clients
Wow.
spread across Central and South America. They point to that as evidence of, successful projects.
Right.
But what's interesting is it's not just businesses. The website adds they also serve over 14,995 residential users.
In Panama.
In Panama, yeah.
Yeah.
Providing high-speed internet like 300 to 1,000 megas, fiber optic, and unlimited local calls.
So they're running significant infrastructure for both corporate and consumer markets there.
That's what it looks like. A pretty substantial scale.
Okay, so a long history, substantial scale. You mentioned they position themselves as an ally, and the website uses that phrase, tu círculo de confianza.
Your circle of trust.
Right. How do their stated values sort of line up with that?
Well, that concept of trust, being a reliable partner, it's definitely a core theme. The sources, they explicitly list values: commitment, trust, transparency, professionalism, agility, and efficiency. They state a clear belief that building trusting relationships is, well, key to solving business problems with tech.
So it's not just about the widgets, it's the relationship.
That seems to be the message, the relationship built around the tech.
Okay, let's unpack this. What are the core digital solutions Ovnicom actually provides? The sources list quite a range. Maybe we can group them. Talk about what these categories mean for a business.
That's a good approach, yeah. Because the sources show they cover the key areas businesses need to operate digitally today. We could think of it in terms of like foundational layers and then more specialized services on top.
Okay, what's that foundational layer look like?
So the base is clearly connectivity and networking,
Right, the basics.
pretty much. Getting businesses online reliably, connecting their internal systems, their different locations. They offer high-speed internet, emphasizing dedicated fiber for businesses.
Which means more reliability, consistent speeds.
Exactly. Crucial for things like video calls, cloud apps. They also handle the networking within a company and between branches.
Like Wi-Fi and internal networks.
Yeah, managing Wi-Fi internal networks using technologies like SD-WAN.
SD-WAN.
Yeah,
That's the smarter way to connect offices securely over the internet, right?
you got it. Efficient and secure. And they integrate security right into this layer using tech from partners like Fortinet and Cisco Meraki.
Okay, so getting businesses connected and securely, what about moving beyond just that basic connectivity?
Right, so that brings us to cloud and data center services. Ovnicom offers their own enterprise cloud.
Their own cloud.
Yeah, they highlight that it's local, scalable, and secure. And being a VMware cloud provider at the enterprise level, well, that tells you they're using established enterprise-grade tech.
So what does that mean in practice? What can businesses do with it?
It means they can offer things like infrastructure as a service,
Right.
AS,
Okay.
which is essentially, renting computing power, storage, networking from them instead of buying and managing your own servers.
Got it.
They also offer backup services and disaster recovery as a service. dross.
Dross is huge, so if
Yeah.
disaster strikes.
Because you have a ready-to-go copy running elsewhere. Minimizes downtime.
Yeah.
Super important. And their physical data center in Panama kind of complements this.
How so?
Well, they offer colocation, basically renting space and power
Yeah.
and cooling in their secure facility for your own IT gear.
Right, if you still want your own hardware, but in a better environment. And communications. How do businesses talk to each other, talk to customers, using Ovnicom stuff?
Ah, good question. They provide unified communications. This is mainly IP telephony, using the internet for phone calls, and hosted PBX in the cloud.
Hosted PBX. So the phone system isn't physically in your office.
Exactly. It's managed off-site, makes it accessible from anywhere, easier to scale up or down. They also integrate with tools people use every day, like Microsoft Teams for calls and video,
Okay.
and they offer different connection options like SIP trunk. The key thing is providing modern, flexible communication tools, easy to access, and importantly, with 247 support.
That support piece is critical for comms. Okay. Now, security. You mentioned it's integrated, but they offer specific cybersecurity solutions too.
Oh yeah, this is another major area. Comprehensive cybersecurity solutions. The sources mentioned using advanced technology.
So more than just a firewall,
Much more. It includes proactive steps like vulnerability studies, often called pen testing.
where they try to hack you ethically.
Exactly. Find weaknesses before the bad guys do. They also provide integrated defense, like anti-malware and backup, using platforms like Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud.
Okay.
They highlight their expertise with Fortinet solutions, and, really importantly, they mention having a 24/7 NOC CSU.
NOC SOC Network and Security Operations Center.
Yep. Means they have teams constantly monitoring network health and security alerts around the clock. That's a big deal for responsiveness.
Definitely. Okay, beyond these core digital areas, what about the physical side or more specialized needs?
Right. They cover what they call digital infrastructure and special services.
Digital infrastructure, like wiring.
Yeah, structured cabling, the organized wiring in your office, fiber optic installs, access control systems, video surveillance. Even with intelligent analytics, it's the physical backbone, really.
Gotcha. And special services.
That seems to be where they offer highly customized solutions for unique business problems. Tailor-made stuff, backed by that 24/7 monitoring center again.
And they even have an AI chatbot listed. That sounds pretty cutting edge.
Yes, that's an interesting one. Points to them looking at, future trends. The AI chatbot is described as a tool to transform how businesses interact with customers, optimize internal processes.
So not just a simple FAQ bot.
Doesn't sound like it. The sources mention deep integration via APIs with things like CRMs, payment platforms, even delivery or geolocation services.
Whoa.
The idea is to automate various processes, customer service, sales using AI, and connecting different data sources. They also mention integration with social media, WhatsApp, huge channels today.
That level of integration sounds powerful.
It really does. And what's fascinating here is it's not just a long menu of services. The sources clearly show Ovnicom thinks about how these services get used by different kinds of businesses.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. How do they tailor these offerings, based on who they're talking to or the specific challenges a business faces?
Well, they identify specific segments and the problems they typically address. For instance, businesses with multiple physical locations.
Right.
The emphasis is on their advanced networking capabilities, connecting those branches reliably, securely. That's key for them.
Makes sense. What about smaller companies? SMEs?
For small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, the focus shifts. It's more about providing affordable, adaptable tech solutions, things that support growth without needing a massive in-house IT department, tech that scales easily.
So grow as you go kind of tech.
Exactly. Interestingly, they also target technology companies themselves.
Selling tech to tech companies.
Yeah, offering their digital infrastructure, their high-performance data centers, positioning themselves as a partner for innovation, not just a vendor.
That's a different angle.
It is. Then there's the public sector. They highlight their ability to meet those really strict security and compliance demands governments face.
Which are often significant hurdles.
Absolutely. E-commerce companies, too.
Yeah.
They live and die by online operations, right?
Yeah.
So they need solutions to handle traffic spikes, scale up quickly during sales, and they absolutely must have robust protection for online payments. Ovnicom addresses that with their security offerings.
Okay. Financial sector, big target for cyber threats.
Definitely. Holding highly sensitive data. So they're another key focus for Ovnicom's advanced cybersecurity services. like anti-malware, ensuring 247 operations without data breaches.
Right.
They also look at broader applications, like smart cities, using tech to optimize traffic flow, energy use, public safety, that kind of integrated system approach.
It's a very broad scope.
Very. And beyond industries, they offer a virtual CTO service.
Virtual CTO.
Yeah, for businesses that need that high-level strategic IT guidance, project management expertise, but maybe aren't ready for a full-time chief technology officer. It's like getting expert strategy on demand.
That could be really valuable for growing companies.
Could be. They also provide solutions for other operators and carriers, basically helping other service providers optimize their own networks for quality and scalability.
Helping the competition, in a way. Or enabling them.
Enabling them, yeah. Partnering, maybe? And finally, they offer IT as a service, or ITS.
ITEA, so that's like outsourcing the whole IT department, or
Yeah.
parts of it.
Essentially, yeah.
Mhm.
Companies can outsource many of their day-to-day IT activities to Ovnicom. The sources list the benefits as, letting the company focus on its main business, potentially cutting operational costs,
Mhm.
ensuring platforms are available when needed, and providing that built-in scalability as needs change.
Okay. It seems like providing this huge range of solutions must rely not just on their own people, but also working with other big names in tech.
This raises an important question. Partnerships are absolutely critical in the tech world today. They give you access to cutting-edge tools, ensure things work together, validate expertise. Ovnicom clearly emphasizes their strategic alliances.
With who?
Leading tech companies. The sources specifically named global giants like Fortinet, Microsoft, Cisco Meraki among their key partners.
And the portfolio. You said it lists even more. Shows a
It-
broad network.
Yes, the list is quite extensive. Includes names like Wasabi, that's cloud storage acronyms for backup and security, VMware for cloud, Veeam, Sophos, Juniper, many others across security, networking, collaboration tools.
So a wide net.
Definitely. And they state these partnerships are fundamental to offering innovative solutions across storage, security, connectivity.
They also make a pretty specific, quite strong claim about one partner, Fortinet. What was that?
They do. They highlight themselves as being the partner with the most Fortinet certifications in the region.
The most. That's a bold claim.
It is, and they list a whole array of specific specializations. They hold secure connectivity, SD-WAN, cloud security, SACE.
Say Secure Access Service Edge. That's pretty advanced stuff.
It is. It's a modern approach to security and networking in the cloud. Having numerous certifications with a major player like Fortinet, well, it isn't just a badge. It demonstrates a deep level of technical skill, training, proven capability in implementing complex security and networking.
So it backs up their expertise claims.
Strongly. It really reinforces that circle of trust idea by validating their technical abilities with a respected third party.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. Based on these sources we've looked at, Ovnicom presents itself as what? A well-established, comprehensive digital ally in Central America.
Pretty much, yeah. Built on over 2 decades of experience.
Right.
And they cover the essential tech needs for businesses. Everything from just getting connected and managing infrastructure, networking, cloud, data centers, to keeping everything secure with cybersecurity and enabling modern communication with unified comms, even AI chatbots.
And they understand businesses aren't all the same, tailoring that broad set of offerings for specific industries, specific challenges.
Exactly. And they leverage this significant network of partnerships with global tech leaders.
Which gives them access to a wide range of tech, but also, like you said, with the Fortinet certs, provides strong validation of their technical know-how, their ability to deliver complex projects.
Right. In critical areas like security and networking. So ultimately, the sources paint a picture of a company aiming to be that reliable circle of trust for businesses navigating digital transformation.
Promising not just technology, but efficiency, security, and support for growth. A mix of services, tailored approaches, and that validated expertise.
That's the core message coming through.
Okay. That gives you, listening, a really solid understanding, I think, of their capabilities and how they position themselves in the region. Now, for you listening, thinking about your own business or organization, the speed at which technology is evolving, AI, cloud, those ever-increasing security threats.
This raises an important question. If your goal is to move quickly, confidently with digital transformation, how valuable is it really to have a single proven partner? Someone who can handle a wide spectrum of these interconnected needs, from the core connectivity and cloud right through to advanced security and future tools like AI, versus trying to, stitch together solutions from multiple different vendors.
Yeah, managing multiple vendors versus having one point of contact for all that complexity. Something to ponder as you consider your own strategic technology decisions.
Definitely something to think about.
That's our deep dive into Ovnicom, based on the sources you shared. We hope this exploration was valuable, gave you a clear, comprehensive picture.